41 days. That's all it took. 41 days. For the first week, I was ranked in the 50s. The next week, it was the 40s. Then I was in the 30s for a while. Last week, I was in the 20s, and now, 41 days in, number 19, top 20. I've been watching you. I've been watching all of you play 8, 10, 12 hours a day, YOLOing your shards in the desperate hope that RNG will bless you with a champion that can help you build a lead big enough that I can't run you down. Well, I'm not worried about that. I am in good shape. I've got a stockpile of shards you wouldn't believe. Every single kind of shard in the game. I haven't pulled a single sacred shard since this challenge began. I've got all of that energy that you burned through in those first few weeks. They're still sitting in my mailbox, still sitting in my challenges. I've got plenty more to come. I've got a stockpile of over 2,000 gems. This is how you free to play. The slow roll. 3-4 hours a day tops. You can run all you want. You can play as hard as you want. I've seen your legendary pulls. I've seen your crazy void shard pulls. I've seen your cold hearts and your apothecaries. I've seen your Harimas and your Necmothars. I have seen everything. You can't escape. I'm not going anywhere except up. The grind can't stop me. Time can't stop me. RNG can't stop me. When it comes to free to play, there's one truth you must recognize.
I am inevitable.
Well, that was fun. In today's video, I'm going to catch you up on the progress I've made recently on my Hell Hades 2025 free-to-play challenge account. I'm going to start by looking at the leaderboards here because there are several points that I want to illustrate about free-to-play life here in Raid Shadow Legends. Now, before I start, let me first say that I love the Hell Hades free-to-play challenge. I think it's gotten better every year, so a big shout out to Hell Hades himself and all of the members of HH Gaming who helped to make this event possible. It's absolutely fantastic. And every year we get to see some of the top content creators and community members push the bounds of what we understand is possible for free-to-play accounts, especially in the early game. But this is a competition, and that means that the content creators that you are watching are making decisions based around trying to perform well in this challenge, not necessarily making decisions that are healthy for a free-to-play account that is not a challenge account. And as you know, if you've been watching my channel, I am using a slow roll approach to this challenge account, which is basically the best free-to-play practices I can employ for the long-term success of a free-to-play account. So there are a lot of things that I'm doing differently than the other content creators. Now, I want to highlight some of those by looking at the leaderboards today to show you that my approach is already performing well compared to the general performance here of the challenge accounts. So as you can see, I am number 19. There are 55 content creators in this challenge, and I am currently ranked 19. We're not even at the halfway point. Now, I want to highlight this first. This is the most important thing that I want to talk about today. For champion development, I'm ranked 38th out of 55. So I'm in, the back third, right? This is basically how many 60s you have. I have 4 60s. That's it. And the fourth one I got 2 days ago. I'm basically getting a 6-star every 10 days. That's really reasonable. That's a reasonable pace that I think most players can match with, say, 3 hours of gameplay a day for the first 40 days or so. Maybe a little bit more. Maybe 3.5 hours. It depends on how experienced you are in the game. But there have been days where I've pushed a little bit more in terms of time. I don't think I've ever played more than, I think the first day or two, I played like 9 hours the first day and like 6 hours the second day. And since then, I don't think I've played more than maybe 4 to 4.5 hours on any given day, with an average, I would say, of somewhere around 3 to 3.5 hours. Now, that has had an impact. So for instance, if you look at my Great Hall development here, I am 18th out of 55. Great Hall comes from arena battles. Arena battles at this juncture in an account, the success of getting a lot of arena battles comes from being able to hit the refresh button a lot and see a lot of weak defenses that you can take advantage of. I'm not really doing that. I'm just not in the game that many hours per day. And yet, despite being ranked 38th in champion development, you can see my Great Hall is 18th. I'm doing okay in arena. I'm in gold 2. We're going to go to the account and I'll show you all of the various areas that I progressed. But again, just looking at the leaderboards, what you're going to see is 38th in champion development, and I am higher than that in every other area. Every other area, I am ranked better than 38th. I'm doing more with fewer champions. And like I said, I still have a stockpile of gems. I have a stockpile of shards. I have my gem mine opened. I have my sparring pit opened. I still have tons of energy, like rewards and other rewards to get in terms of Nightmare Campaign and some of the challenges and tasks that there are in game, the Arbiter missions and all of those things. Again, I'm going to show you all of that. But let's just run through these leaderboards really quickly. Remember, 38th in champion development, 18 in Great Hall development, 21 in faction wars progression. I was very high here early on, but I think when you pull shards, you get more champions. And so people now have more champions than I do, and they're starting to catch up a little bit on faction wars progression. I haven't done my faction wars today, though. I still have some stars I think I can get. Classic Arena, 29. So right basically in the middle. 28th is the middle rank out of 55. So I'm just around the middle here. You can see I'm in gold 2. Tag Team Arena, however, I am 13th. I'm in bronze 2. I've been able to farm there really consistently. It's not particularly difficult. And again, this is with only 4 level 60s. Actually, I only run 3 of them, sometimes 2 of them in arena. Sometimes I run a 40, a 50, and 2 60s. My current fastest champion is 32nd. I have not had luck with gear this year. My gear has been really bad. My rolls have been really bad. My drops have been really bad. And despite that, I think I'm doing okay on gear. Like, I'm starting to accumulate the pressure that I need in various areas like Doom Tower and Faction Crypts to start improving my gear. As my gear improves and my speeds improve, I'm going to be making a lot of progress in a lot of other areas. Now, normal campaign, this isn't really a great place to measure because this was about who finished these areas. But as you can see in Nightmare Campaign progression, I'm still 46 out of 55. So I've got tons of points to get there, tons of rewards still to get in Nightmare Campaign. I don't know if I'm even going to bother. Honestly, I don't know if I'm going to bother because as a slow roll free-to-play player, I think I probably won't look at Nightmare Campaign for maybe 4 or 5 months. I don't know that I'll get to it in the first 90 days. Now, Demon Lord progress, I'm doing okay. I'm 14th, it says. I think I'm actually below that because looking at my clan leaderboards, it feels like I'm below that, but it's ranking me 14th. I'm doing all right. I've got a 2-key brutal that's closing in on a 1-key for certain affinities. And again, I'll show you that in game. Now, Hydra progress was okay. Chimera progress, this is not actually where I was this week. I did not have my optimizer running when I completed my Chimera this week, and I'll show you that in game, but I think I did something like 20 million on normal. So I'm a lot higher than this 8 million that's being represented here. Dragon, I've gotten to stage 20. That's really all I need for now. I am ranked 25th, so right in the middle. Ice Golem, I've gotten to 18. That's ranked 16. Fire Knight, stage 16. That's 18th. And Spider is stage 18. That's ranked 7. So, you know, decently high ranks. Again, remember, only 4 level 60 champions. So there is still plenty of growth here. Now, out of all of these, I think I'm not sure I have any of these stages on farm except for stage 20 of Dragon. I can definitely farm that. But these other ones I would probably farm back at like 16, not 17 or 18. Maybe even below that for Fire Knight, maybe like 14 for Fire Knight. Minotaur, again, that doesn't really matter. I'm doing stage 15, but you can see right in the middle there. As far as the potion keeps are concerned, I unlocked most of them pretty early. I think there's only one that I haven't maxed out. That's Magic Keep here at 18, but all the rest are at 20. The Iron Twins, you can see I have a stage 7 unlocked. I think that's probably maxed out. I could probably get most of the stage 7s right now. I don't think I can really get any of the stage 8s. Maybe Magic Affinity. That's it. Sand Devil, I'm 24th. Again, stage 8, it looks like. Excuse my squinting. I still haven't replaced my glasses. Shogun Grove, stage 11. In a minute, 15 seconds, that's farmable. That's honestly farmable. I don't know that I would farm. I think actually I could probably farm both of these right where they are. The event dungeon, stage 17, not really farmable for me. I'd probably farm stage 15 or 16. And yeah, and that's where we stand on the leaderboards. So remember, rank 38th in terms of champion progression, but I'm in the 20s or teens or even single digits in all of these. And all of these, with the one exception, I think, really being current fastest champion, I guess 2 exceptions, and then campaign progress. But everything else, I'm in the 29th or above in terms of rank. So the reason I wanted to show all this and just emphasize this is not to like just toot my own horn, which I did with the intro plenty, but to just reinforce an idea that I often say, especially during my Takeover Tuesday live streams, which is that your roster is almost never the bottleneck on your account. It doesn't really matter, even in the early game. In gacha games, we are, as players, we are so focused on pulling shards and getting the next champion that can unlock new content that we very often don't look at what we can unlock with the roster that we already have. If you get creative, if you think outside the box, you start problem solving in interesting ways, you're going to find that champions that you think are trash are decent. Champions that you think are decent can be better if you use them in certain combinations. And champions who are extremely powerful can actually dominate more areas of content than you may think when you say, oh, well, this is the best like particular specialist for this one thing. But any specialist can actually be a pretty good general carry if you use them in the right way. So let's jump into the account now, and I'll begin to show you some of how I'm putting these ideas into practice. Very quickly, I'm going to run you around the count. You can see I am account level 51, so I still haven't unlocked Cintranos. There is still all that progress to be made. It is day 41 login for me. Remember, that means everybody else is on day 42 because I'm one server day behind. Now, let's go ahead and look at that shard collection. Over 850 mystery shards, over 30 ancient shards, 5 voids, 2 primals, and 5 sacred shards. There's a 2x sacred shard event this weekend, along with the champion chase, I believe, that is going on. I'm not participating in the Esme fusion, but a double dip is always good. So we're going to probably pull those shards and see what we can get rather than save them for the next fusion, which I still think I can probably do with other resources. Now, as far as my roster is concerned, you can see I have 4 level 60s. It's Alice and Athel, who are my first 2. And then I leveled up Geo, and I just recently leveled up Anchorite to 60. Now, if you're wondering why I did Anchorite and not Ugo or Tagore or Morag or Sun Wukong or anybody else, is the fact that, first of all, I have a plan for Anchorite. I think he's going to be extremely useful on my roster. One thing that's really, really valuable about him is, first of all, he's got a great big full heal. I'm lacking healing here. You think Tagore is a great healer, but he's really just enough to keep you going. This AoE is really an AoE speed, and, the heal's not that huge. It'll get bigger when I 6-star him, and he's probably going to be my next 6-star, but we'll talk about that in just a second. But so this is an additional healer, plus he's also an additional cleanser, right? He has a little cleanse here, removes 1 random debuff from all allies. So between him and Ugo, I've got a little bit more cleansing because she also removes 1 random debuff. He's got an AoE A1. I've got him in a Daze set, which gives me a little bit of opportunity to use some crowd control. And then I needed him for a mission because I needed to 6-star a Spirit Affinity champion. And so I did that to progress around, down the Arbiter missions. So let's go take a look at the Arbiter missions. You can see I am into the last quarter here. I just broke through. My next mission is to upgrade a 5th champion to level 60. Now, I am completing my food for that. So right now, let's see. I have 1, 2, and then 3, 4, 5. Those will be my 5-star chickens. But I'm going to wait. I'm not going to 6-star anybody right away until I pull my shards this weekend. Because it could be Tagore, but if I pull like a crazy great, Reviver, or if I pull Elva or something, I'd rather 6-star her. over Tagore, even though Tagore is now fully booked, which is great. I should show you the books. I have, in fact, fully booked Alice finally. I was able to save two books here on her A1. I would like those eventually, but I'm not going to push the issue here. I was lucky enough to save a couple of books there. Again, Geomancer is still only partially booked, but he's got the important books that he needs on his A3. Anchorite is just starting to get books. Unfortunately, I got unlucky, and the first 2 books went into his A1, but I really don't need that many books here. I just need 5 more, and then he will be fully booked. Athel is obviously booked. Wukong is not. Ugo is fully booked. I was able to save 1 book on her A1, which is not too bad. Morag is not booked yet, but you can see she's also not really that bad in terms of the number of books. It's just 9 books total, and if I can avoid the A1 a little bit, I will. Tagore is fully booked again. I was able to save 2 books on his A1. Nobody else has any books other than the uncommons, who are all fully booked, I think. I think I have 4 uncommons who are fully booked. I'm basically just using them for faction crypts. Yeah, nothing else right now. Although I have plans for Arminger down the line if I get to it. I don't know that I'll get to him in the first 90 days, but I may. I have pulled a few decent champions. Nobody that I'm really going to be investing in heavily. Umbral Enchantress is probably the best, and she does potentially provide a lockout in Arena, so I may be looking at her, or in wave content. She could help me in Doom Tower as well. And then, I've got High Katoon here, obviously, as the free login reward. I did pull a Master Butcher who's going to help me, and I'm going to use him today. And then, Eflin's not bad. Hasn't really done anything for me yet, but here's another lockout champion, block active skills. Not as good as it used to be, right, because of Stone Skin, but still there. But I have several lockout champions now. I have Umbral, Eflin, and of course, Alice the Wanderer. So that's where I've been using my books. I still have Alice and Brimstone, although I think eventually I'm going to make her a PvP specialist. Not really a specialist, but more focused in PvP. And so as a result, I will probably swap her from Brimstone over to Soul Reap at some point. I think that's what I'm going to do, but I haven't decided when that's going to happen. Again, the mine is completely unlocked. I got that right away. So I'm getting all those gems back. So on top of the 2,060 gems that I have currently, and I'm just constantly collecting, I'm getting 15 every day. There are still, 48 days left in the challenge. So what is that? We're talking about 480 plus 240, so 720 more gems that I'm going to get from this gem mine before the end of the challenge. So yes, I won't get my full investment back, but I'm going to get a lot of it back by the time this challenge ends. Guardian Ring fully unlocked and making me more 6 stars at this point. Yeah, so let's see about the progress. Like I said, the Dragon's Lair stage 20, I think I can farm this with this team. So I did pull Athel out of here just to provide a little bit more healing with and an extra cleanse with Anchorite, and he's actually being pretty good. I think he's also he might be in my event dungeon team. Yeah, he's in my event dungeon team as well, but I think this team has maxed out. You can see it was like over 6 minutes there. So I think I'd have to farm stage 16, which is fine for now. I'm going to be getting that progress once I get more 6 stars. What else? Oh, I've got 13 soul stones. I have not gotten luck with soul stones at all. So I'm waiting for a 2x event. You can see I've got 7,000 coins. So I've actually got 20 mortal soul stones waiting. Let me show you the souls that I have been able to collect. I've gotten a 1-star on Geomancer, which was nice. I just got a 1-star Anchorite soul today. Ugo I got a few days ago, and I got Morag yesterday. So I basically got all 4 of these 1-star souls within the last 10 days, maybe. And 3 of them were within like the last 3 or 4 days. So not doing great on souls, but not awful. I do have one on Eflin as well. But yeah, so that's where we are in terms of souls. Arena is pretty solidly gold 2. I'm not really trying to push too hard. If I could get to gold 3, I would like it, because that would speed up my Great Hall development. But I don't play enough hours per day to make this really easy. So I am hoping to pull somebody during this shard pull event this weekend that can improve my arena team. I would love somebody like a Gorgorab or a Runekeeper Dazdirk, or even an old Hermit Jorg, or somebody who's got an increased attack and a turn meter fill. That would be really nice. Because currently my team, as you can see, consists of just a speed aura and then everybody going basically as fast as I can make them. So there's no turn meter fill here. There's no increased attack except Athel's like one that she brings for herself. And I do sometimes, if I need more speed, I put in High Katoon. High Katoon is actually slower than Ugo, but she's faster than everybody else. She's like 3 slower than Ugo. So if I need an extra turn meter fill to, get everybody else going a little bit faster, I can do that. And then, yeah. As far as the Great Hall is concerned, I have spread around the affinity bonuses a little bit. Normally, I don't do this. I concentrate on one area and max it out. But as you can see, I have 2 level 5 affinity bonuses. I'm going to go for a third, and then I'm going to have to push. This is going to delay my Arbiter. This means I'm not going to get my Arbiter. If I were in like gold 4 or 5, maybe I could still get my Arbiter in the 90 days. That was an okay idea. I do think whoever I hand off this account to will be in good shape to get that Arbiter, say, in under 150 days. I think that's going to be reasonable. Maybe even like 120 days. We'll have to see how far I can go. So again, I'm here. You can see I have several of these already completed, and all of these are basically done. Stage 14 of everything is completed. So this is the upgrade affinity bonus to level 7. That's where I'm going to get stuck. And at that point, who knows how long that's going to take. The reason I want the 3 level 5s is for the challenge here. You can see I can get myself this legendary tome if I get a third to level 5 and then push past that. Legendary tomes are pretty important, but maybe what I'll do is I'll do the level 7 first and then I'll do the third level 5 afterwards. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. That might be the better way to go. So I could probably get to a level 7. So I need 300 medals, and then I'm going to need 350. No, I'm going to need 700 for the next one. Yeah, that's going to take a while. That's going to take a good 2 weeks at least. All right, let's look at the clan boss. So here in Nightmare, let's see, did I do a Nightmare key today? I did. You can see right there, 12.3 million on a single key. This is a good key for me because it's Spirit Affinity. This is my team currently. This will be changing. Athel will definitely be coming out of this. And I think probably... So I have 2 different teams that I'm thinking about. One is with Tagore and not Ugo. One is with Ugo and not Tagore. But eventually Alice is probably going to come out as well. I can actually do a 2-to-1 with Tagore and Anchorite. That is a possibility. And then I also have Morag Bronzelock, who I think is going to come into the team to give a little bit more damage, but also a little bit more sturdiness with that strengthen buff. So we're going to talk about that, or we're going to see that in the future. I've also thought about bringing in Sabatha here for the increased defense and increased attack. I still haven't found a way to quite work her into anything. So I don't know if I'm going to... I had originally planned on using her much more, but it just hasn't happened. And I think I have other champions who are ahead of her in the in the lineup of who's going to be 6-star next. And again, we're going to be pulling more shards this weekend. So, but that felt pretty good in terms of the Nightmare. For Brutal, I definitely have a 2-key, no problem. I'm pulling down, I think you need 21 million, 22 million. I'm pulling down I pulled down 16 or 17 million on my last key. So I do think I can get this to 1 key relatively soon. All I need to do really to get a Brutal 1 key is to get everybody to 6-star. Once that happens, I think it'll naturally just be a 1-key Brutal. But I might be moving on from Brutal at that point and focused on like a 3-key Nightmare or whatever. 1-key Brutal, 3-key Nightmare would not be a bad place to be. Or you can try to push the Ultra Nightmare. But as you can see, nobody's really doing that consistently in our clan just yet. Chimera, let me show you how I did this week in Clash. You can see 49.83 million. So I was able to get 29 million on easy and almost 21 million on normal. And I got a little bit unlucky at the end of normal here. I think I could have gotten further, but I got 1 shot because I was just a little bit slow on a heal. And this was actually full auto. I didn't manual this at all. So this was full auto, 21 million. And again, this did not register on the leaderboards yet because I didn't have my optimizer open. So this would change my point total as well and push that a little bit higher. So you can see I'm ranked 6th here out of my clan. Again, 38th in champion development, 6th in my clan. The other clan's doing a little bit better. So let's say I'd be like 10th in that clan. So maybe 16th, 17th. Again, mid-teens in terms of overall performance here in Chimera. Looking at Doom Tower, I'm up to the second Bommel, and this is actually a team I believe we have the... So first of all, I think I could do this pretty easily, but we have the free gearing right now, which is going to allow me to deck out this guy, Master Butcher, in really good gear, and that's going to, I think, allow me to push past this Bommel just fine. So once I do that, we should be in good shape. And then that's going to get me an Epic Tome, which is going to help because I'm going to put that on Anchorite. It's going to get me some energy, and I should get up to the next... I have 10 keys here, so I should get up to floor 59 tonight, and then, you know, we'll keep pushing through. As far as farming, I'd like to farm Dark Fae a little bit higher, but I don't actually think that 4-star, 3 and 4-star lethal gear is really worth it. Whereas I actually think that the Guardian gear can be good. So I've been kind of leaning into that and getting, you know, the Griffin feathers instead. But once I get to the next, it may even have to be the last. It may have to be the last Dark Fae. I'll farm her because you want that higher star gear. Okay, last place to look, I think, is Faction Wars. Now, here is something. First of all, Shadowkin, I'm doing okay. I pulled one epic, so I'm holding on to her, Kunoichi or whatever her name is, and then I've got one rare here, and this is enough. This is really all you need to do. You can see they can push up to stage 5 by themselves, farm some materials. But again, with the gear removal, I'm going to put some better gear on them, and I'm hoping to be able to get a few more stars, get up here to stage 6. I don't think I'll be able to push through the boss, but that'll be all we'll do here for today. However, in Demon Spawn, I am working Demon Spawn. I'm working Demon Spawn without really any built Demon Spawn, right? Like, none of these champions are in my normal rotation. Umbral Enchantress doesn't have any gear on. I haven't put gear on her yet. So this Diabolist I just ran up today. She's going to become a 5-star chicken, but today she's going to be put in some gear, and she's going to be my turn meter filler. I may even pull out Petrifia and put in a second Diabolist for the more AoE damage. We'll have to see. But this is... How did I lose Petrifia? There she is. But this is the team that I ran with. And again, you can see, you know, 3 stars all the way up. And this is just about having like a good shield set and then some speed gear on 1 or 2 champions, some decent damage. 4-star, natural 4-star champions. Any trash epic in the game can be good in faction crypts up to about stage 13 or so, right? After that point, now you have to start really putting together a team. But this is all we need to do to start improving that gear that I was talking about, getting more forged materials, and yeah, improving my overall gear set. Now, what else? Oh, one thing I wanted to show you, though, is this is especially useful for Demon Spawn. Anytime it comes around, anytime you see it coming around, and you can see I got to do that in the next hour, you want to go in here, hold on to your Demon Spawn Faction Guardians, like your food, and just put them here. Like, if I can get one more in campaign, I'm going to have 4 of the 5 Demon Spawn Guardians. If I could get 5, all 5, and get that extra speed, I would. But I'm getting 10% HP, 10% attack, accuracy, and resistance. I'm going to get 10% defense. This is going to help me push that faction crypt. And then I'm going to turn all of those Demon Spawn, you know, farmable champions into chickens to get my next 6-star. So, you can do more with less. You know, I've got Geomancer in regen. Helps him stay alive. He's a very powerful champion. He does really well. You know, he can solo some content. I've got an AoE A1 with a days set. I hate the days set. I just happen to have a decent set for Anchorite, and so I put it on him, and it works. It helps me out in certain cases. You know, I've got Alice. I've got Alice in Immortal. This is another thing where it's like, I wanted to do the Scarab boss. And so I had 1 Blood Shield ring. It was in the Sacred Order. I put it on Alice, but she didn't have sustain. She didn't have a lifesteal set, and I didn't want to swap her out of this gear. So I just basically found my 2 best Immortal pieces. They're both 5-star pieces. They've got the right stats. She's still got good crit rate, good crit damage, and good accuracy, good speed. and she was able to solo the Scarab boss. You know, be creative. Be creative. You can see Ugo here has she will have hopefully a 9-piece pinpoint set, so she's got the intercept stacks. By the way, so does Wukong. Wukong has 4 pieces. He's got intercept stacks. This helps in some cases. Tagore is running fast. He's running tanky. That's all that matters. I think I might end up putting him into a bolster set because we are getting bolster during this Forge Pass. And I'm just waiting to get down here so I can get, you know, these 15 pieces. If you want to know, you need these 150 pieces at level 40 and these 75 pieces at level 50 in order to make 15 pieces of 5 and 6 star forge gear. So you can forge everything before this. So this can be used. All of the other materials can be used on 4 and 5 star pieces until you get here. You need to save, until you get to level 40, you need to save that 150 in order to be able to forge this. So you can just see when you go into the forge, go to the bolster set, right? For every 5 legendary materials, you need 10 of the epic ones. So 75 and 150, and you're good. And that'll get you your 15 pieces. All right, that is it. That's how I'm doing right now. I can't wait to unlock Centranos. I'm really excited for that. And I've got about 45 minutes to go push my faction crypts and my Doom Tower. I got to do that before I run out of time. That's it. That's where we are right now. Let me know in the comments below. First of all, are you going to revise your expectation of where I'm going to finish in this challenge? I'm starting to revise my expectations. I think I might be able to crack the top 15. It might happen. I definitely feel comfortable about making the top 20, which I wasn't at the beginning of this challenge. But of course, all of those players behind me still have their opportunities to make a push and overtake me as well. So I can't rest. Just got to keep playing. But again, the slow roll is, I'm maxing out at like 4 hours a day or less. So it doesn't feel as burdensome as it did last year. And especially when I'm watching all of these other content creators who I know are playing tons and tons of hours every day. I feel really good being in 19th position with the number of hours I'm putting in. All right, that is it for me today. Thanks so much for hanging out. And remember, I'm coming for you.